What's up, you beautiful fucking people? Welcome back to another episode of Unaligned and Unfiltered. I'm your host, Jack, or the Twisted Wanderer, and happy Scully Sunday. I hope everyone's having a beautiful Sunday so far. It is 9 in the morning over here, and I'm super excited to be filming this podcast episode. Today's episode is going to be on scoliosis in the media and representation, and how I feel like it all ties into maybe how doctors represent their businesses, right? Because of how the media or how scoliosis is portrayed, if you will. So I am going to talk about I guess scoliosis in the media over time a little bit, a couple of shows I've seen, and then I just want to talk about why it's so important to have better representation and why we should be really loud with our own stories. So super excited to talk to y'all today about all this good stuff. So let's scoliosis. Okay. Scoliosis in the media. Let's talk about it. So personally for me, I feel like my only scoliosis reference growing up was The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And that is also only because doctors, I feel like, use that to talk to us about, I won't say us, but I know I can speak for myself. And a few people I have spoken to have also been told this reference. So that's kind of why I say us, because I feel like, of course, we're all different, but we do share similarities. And I feel like this is one of them. This is the one that sneaks in. Because the Hunchback of Notre Dame was the only kind of reference for a curved spine growing up. So I feel like I was told, I could look like that by the time I was 40 years old. And I don't even remember the first time I heard that, but I've definitely heard it before. And that's the first thing I thought of when I thought of I want to talk about this, was that. Because I remember, I don't know, I just remember, younger at that time. I was scared. You're telling me I'm going to look like something completely different than how I look now. And I feel like that's just we shouldn't be using fear. And it's okay to look different, I feel like that's also how ableism sneaks in. And it's just wired in there, right? Oh, what if I look like that? And it's oh, but what if I look like that? But so that was my first kind of experience with scoliosis in media. That was really the only movie I ever compared to it, because doctors even compared to it. Hey, you could look like this if you don't get surgery or shit like that. So why I bring this up is because over time, there has been a lot of scoliosis in the media. And just because there's more doesn't mean it's good. And that's kind of what I want to talk to y'all about today. I don't understand why it is so hard. When you think you're making a show, you're making a movie, wouldn't you want to research and make sure it lands well, or it makes sense, or it's a good representation? And I feel like that's just never how scoliosis is played out. I recently just finished watching a show. It's called Running Point. And it's on Netflix, and it's about basketball, and your girl here has never, I don't watch basketball, but I am from New York, so it was really cool that the Knicks won. But also, just not a basketball person, have never been a basketball person, but absolutely love the show. And then because of that, I've gotten more into basketball. But I digressing over here a little bit. But in the show Running Point, they mentioned scoliosis a couple of times in 2 different episodes, I think. And of course, the classic one here is Kate Hudson is like doing an interview, right? Like on TV. And then she's like sitting like how I'm sitting right now at a desk, and she's watching the interview on TV or whatever. And her brother comes in and goes, like, looks at the TV, and they're looking at the TV together. And he goes, "Why is your posture so bad? Do you have scoliosis?" And like, it's just like, it's so frustrating because that is like one of like the biggest scoliosis myths that is out there still to this day, is that like if you just like stand up a little taller, you can fix your scoliosis. And it's just so dangerous to keep these narratives going. And I feel like we're in 2026 now. Why are people who are writing shows not doing their like research on things so that they can represent something? And it's just like, how random to pick scoliosis jokes and put them in your show and then just have no idea what you're talking about. Like, I don't get it. I want to know what's going through their head when they're like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. Because it's just not. Like, I feel like every time I hear scoliosis, I get so excited. I'm like, oh. And then you're just like, oh, bad representation. So it's just so annoying. Or like you can come at it from the aspect of like, so the Burroughs is another show on Netflix that recently did a few episodes of like scoliosis. I think one of them is in the first episode. And then I think the next one's in like the fourth or fifth episode. I have to find them. I'm gonna link all these for you all so you can go watch them, and a lot more stuff. But we'll get there. And in the Burroughs, it kind of comes at it from this like aspect of like, you know, the caregiver being amazing, or at least like that's how I took it. And trust me, caregivers are amazing. I would not have been able to get through my spinal fusion without my mom. For real, like 100%. But I think it just like the way they described it for me, and like what I know now about the disability community and like scoliosis, and I guess how I received it when I watched it was that, oh, you're such a hero for taking care of someone who, you know, and we just take care of the people that we love. And I may be digressing there a little bit, but I just feel like it's just never about the person holding scoliosis, is how I feel. It's never an authentic point of view. It's always someone else's point of view, how they perceive scoliosis, right? And yeah, it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of the same narratives over and over with scoliosis in the media. Like, I've seen so many like posture jokes, or oh, do you have scoliosis, or, and it's just like, now that I'm kind of like coming into my scoliosis, it makes me sad because I wish that there was media like just showing like how much we can start to fall in love with our spines and ourselves after such, you know, one, a traumatizing surgery. Spinal fusion itself is just traumatizing. And then having scoliosis can be quite traumatizing. There's the brace as a kid, you know, there's lots of different avenues this story goes down other than my own. And I just wish there was more variety in how scoliosis was being portrayed. And I really, really wish that there would be research and care when we decide to put something in our work. Like, I feel like it should just be handled with care. Because at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, like, people are always watching shows, content, right? Like doctors, physical therapists. And if this is the media that they're watching, and I've said this a couple of times, I feel like in a lot of doctors' heads, they diagnose scoliosis as something to be very nonchalant. So if they're in their head thinking this is nonchalant, then we got like jokes in the media that aren't being portrayed correctly for scoliosis or spinal fusion patients. I feel like it just creates like this web of confusion even more for doctors and how they come about, like, I guess, presenting themselves to us as patients, right? And that's kind of what I want to talk about. Because while I do feel a lot of stuff can be innocent and it's not meant to hurt, speaking more so, just giving grain of salt, giving grace to people. Because I'm sure, yes, there are some doctors out there who are just assholes. Like that's just is what it is. But I also think there are people who are trying to do well and through no fault of their own are just like, yeah, it didn't land well. So I'm just going to share what I saw. So I was walking in St. Pete Pride, having a grand old time. Like, I'm so excited. I think I just bought my like bye flag. I was just a happy, happy gal. And all of a sudden, I'm walking down. I see a sign and it has a spine on it. And I get like really excited because I feel like when you have scoliosis, I don't know, you see a spine, you're like, ooh, what's that? Like, ooh. And I'm walking down and all of a sudden I see this sign and it says, you don't have to be straight, but your spine should be. And I was just like, because like, and I really, really wanted to go to this person and talk to them. But honestly, I didn't. But if you ever listen to this person with the sign at Pride, this is my advice. This is my 2 cents, if you will. No, erase it, throw that sign out. It's terrible. And it made me feel terrible. And that's so funny because I don't think we realize that things are going to come up when they come up sometimes. And this was something where I was not expecting for something to come up for me. Like, I was like, damn, that sign hurt my fucking feelings. Because it's just like, I don't really think there is a should be. Like, through my whole journey with scoliosis and like trying to find self-love and self-acceptance and breaking isolation and therapy and everything, I'm trying to understand that there is no should be. It just is. Like, it's I think that's a representation problem. That's kind of why I'm bringing this in. It's because like it's a whole web of connections. It's because doctors think it's nonchalant. Social media is portraying it wrong and nonchalantly not a big deal. So like, why wouldn't someone who is like trying to help people and think that they're making a really cute sign for Pride, and then they just epically fail? Like, that is a terrible sign. While I appreciate it and I could see why maybe they thought it was a good idea, I've just really learned a lot. So that sign's terrible. And that's why I feel like everything is so important. We need to, be loud with our stories. We need to create art of our own. We need to be our own representation, because if we're going to wait around for people in media to get it right, I feel like we'll be waiting forever. So this is just my call out to anyone who's thinking about sharing their story. Share your fucking story. Make the art, make the video, because we need it. Doctors need to see it. People need to see this so they don't write shitty signs that like make people feel like shit when they walk past them. And I guess just sharing like kind of what came up for me when I saw that sign. It really was like a shot to the heart. I was just like, because I think a lot of us, myself personally for sure, carries around that shame that isn't ours to carry. And it kind of sucks. Like, you start to get in like a good place and then you see something like that and you're like, oh yeah, oh wait, no, I'm working on that. But it brings up old things like, um, you know, um, the pity party side of things, like, why me? Or, did I make the right decision? Or, darn, wouldn't it be nice to have a straight spine, right? or not be in pain. It brings up all those things we can question. And when we're not expecting to see it, it can be a bit emotional. And it definitely was for me, because I honestly was like, I'm going to go tell him to take that fucking sign down. That sign fucking sucks, blah, blah, blah. And then I just like walked away. I cooled down. I'm like, I'm at Pride. Let me just go have a good time. If I feel like it, I'll turn around and go talk to this person and, just try and educate and see if they're open to learning. But I didn't do that. I didn't have that conversation. Maybe next time I will. I would like to, actually, but just in that moment, I was like, you know what? I just need to stay in my pride joy today. So, yeah, there really just there is no should be. I think as people who hold disabilities and, whatever we hold, that's just not a good way of thinking for us. I know it isn't for me. And when I saw that sign, I was like, ugh, because it just is. Like, we just are. And I hope, like, if you're listening to this right now, like, you understand that you are beautiful and strong as is. There's nothing that needs to be fixed. And like, that sign made me feel like, oh, I need to be fixed even more. Like, yeah, my spinal fusion got rid of mainly my thoracic spine, but I still have a lumbar curvature. And, you know, um, I'm never gonna have a straight spine. And it really got me. I'm not gonna lie. It really fucking got me. And so I'm sitting here talking to you all about it. Because it's just, it just makes me so mad. I don't want there to be a narrative out there and I know that narrative is out there so much, and I just want to reach people before they let it sink into themselves, because it did sink into me for a very long time, and now I'm trying to break it all, and it's exhausting. And then you see signs like that, and it's just like, what the fuck? So I just would love, to just see more stories of scoliosis in so many different ways. And I think, I think if we be so loud about things, like, they won't be able to ignore us. They won't be like doctors in the medical field and, physical therapists. If we're loud enough, and this community really is like so amazing, the scoliosis community, because it's growing and there are so many people coming out and sharing their stories, and there's so many different avenues of what people have experienced. But if there's one true similarity with all of our journeys, is that our representation is not good, and that, you know, I feel like there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to scoliosis. We're under, like I said, they kind of diagnose this nonchalantly. So then in your head, you think it's nonchalant. And then that's exactly what happened to me. It led me on like a dangerous path of like not taking care of myself. And while I'm grateful now to be in my first ever scoliosis program, like, it's been more than 9.5 years. My 10-year anniversary is in 2 months, 2 months and one day. And I'm just getting in a scoliosis routine. Because in my head, I had it in my head that scoliosis was nonchalant, that I was fixed after my surgery, that no one else had this. I was always going to be alone and not able to talk to anyone. That I was just going to not honor my body and keep pushing through forever. And, like, all of that, I believe in my head, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, not like, in my perspective, it's all connected. It's all intertwined between the representation, the diagnosis of how the doctors are diagnosing this. Like, and I just think the community, like, all you beautiful people, we're on our way to changing that. And maybe it will take some time, but it's a beautiful thing. So just keep being loud, keep sharing your stories, keep showing up and asking questions, support people in your community, share their stories, because this is how we're going to change it up. And I am just They love fucking using scoliosis in the fucking media, so I'm sure it's not going anywhere. But maybe eventually we'll be so loud that they can't ignore us and they do it the right fucking way. Or we'll do it. And then, like take Caroline Bell for an example, the author of Tangled in the Curves, right? Scoliosis book. Scoliosis book on Instagram. If you want to go follow her. But the book is called Tangled in the Curves. And she took it upon herself. She's like, I don't see any books. Where are the books at on scoliosis and like idiopathic scoliosis? Like, where is the representation? And she did the research and she talked to people and she was vulnerable and she shared her own journey. And now there is a book out there for families who, here, you got diagnosed. Here's Tangled in the Curves. Here's everything that I wish I knew and that families wish they knew. And here it is in a book. And how amazing is that, right? Because we're being vulnerable and we are learning the hard truths along the way. And if there's one thing that we can do, it's help the next person in line so that they don't have to feel so alone finding these truths. And that's another reason why we just want to keep sharing our stories. And, I will say, I hope I get to a place one day where seeing that sign doesn't completely fuck me up for quite a bit, right? But I think it's also really important to point out that this shit takes a while and that it is a work in progress to continue on the journey of self-acceptance and really being one with who we have been, who we are becoming, and who we currently are, and finding that balance as we navigate the journey that is scoliosis, and that is possibly for some of us scoliosis and spinal fusion. So that's all we can keep doing. Just keep showing up for yourself, and do the things that are gonna make you happier. And for me, I feel like for me that really has just been like learning more and really trying to share more, and being more vulnerable and just talking to people who get it. It really is the best thing ever. Community has changed my life. But with all that said, my beautiful people, and yeah, words cut deep. That's something I really just want to talk about real quick. It's like words do cut deep. So like if you do see something and it does take you back for a minute and you get you right in the corazon, you're right in the heart. You gotta I think you just gotta honor it. I'm really big on feeling anything that comes up these days because but if you don't feel it when it comes up, it just comes up whenever it fucking feels like it. So, while I could have just like ignored that completely and not spoke about it out loud or didn't say anything, I did. And it felt wonderful in the moment. And I had my little tiff about it. And then I went along my day. And now I'm talking about it now because just processing it. And I think it will help anyone else out there who's feeling the same way. Maybe you've seen something that was just like took you off guard and like really like hit you in the heart. It happens. We are but human and we go through a lot of shit. So when things come up, feel them, process them, do what you need to do to understand, why is this coming up for me? What is it? Where do I feel this in my body? Because that's been a game changer for me. I think we get very used to walking around and just doing shit and not really coming inward and like feeling that these two things, this brain up here and this whole body are connected. And when we take the time to understand why we're feeling things and look inward, it's so helpful. And I think for a very long time, I'm sure many of you have, you just get stuck in the go, 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 go of things. But we need to really take time to understand and process. And this sign was a great reminder of that for me. Because what do you mean you don't have to be straight, but your spine should be? I want to know what went through their head. Like, let's just go on this Jack attack for a moment, okay? Because I want to know what the fuck went through their head. Because, okay, I didn't see like the whole business card, but I'm assuming here that you are a physical therapist or of some sort, and like you have orthopedic knowledge. Like you probably know a lot of like bone stuff. So how did you come up with that sign? If you know very well that there are multiple diagnoses that make a spine curve. And why did you think that was a good idea? Like I want to know, because I know that you know about spine diagnoses. So technically, if these spine diagnoses exist, no, the spine shouldn't be straight. There's a very good possibility and chance, about 2% actually, of the population has scoliosis. So, no, your spine shouldn't be straight. Some people are just lucky enough not to have scoliosis or not get diagnosed or just not have it. So again, going back to, there is no should be. There just is. We are just human beings, and these are our cards we are dealt with, and we play them the best that we fucking can. There is no should be. So next time you write a sign, don't write a sign. Just throw it out. Do something else. I mean, you know what? If anyone has like a good slogan, I would love to like write in your best slogan for this, because there has to be something better than this slogan to get business for like chiropractor or PT or whatever this person was trying to sell at Pride. But yeah, I will give them grace. I appreciate the effort of trying to be funny with Pride, but it wasn't. It wasn't funny. It just made me sad. So no snaps on that. Oh, okay. I think I'm done. But I also do, before we skedaddle waddles, Caroline Bell also, I'm going to put this in the comment box. So in the description box of this episode, I'm going to find the episodes that I'm talking about with the running point and the Burroughs. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Would love to hear from you. twistedwander418@gmail.com. And then also what I'll post in the description box is going to be Caroline Bell's page, because she actually made an entire page of media of like movies, TV shows, all these things that represent scoliosis in that media. Most of them done really wrong and really terrible. Just a heads up, because as we know, they just portray scoliosis so terribly in the media. So trigger warning there. If you are going to go watch them, just know it's not the best representation, but I'm going to link that because I'm going to go and watch all of this shit. I want to go watch all of it, and then I'm going to report back even more, probably with just another scoliosis and media episode, and maybe joined by Caroline, because we did speak about it. So would love to do that with her. And then, yes. And then in 2 weeks, I will see you for Twisted Thursday, as we continue celebrating Disability Awareness Month. Happy Disability Awareness Month, because it's super important to have that representation and celebrate disability. So, and joy and all the things that being disabled comes with. So that is that. I will see you in 2 weeks for Twisted Thursday. I will see you in a week for Scully Sunday. The Twisted Collective is being built in real time still. But to share a bit more about it, the Twisted Collective is just going to be like a lighthouse, if you will, for the twists of your lives, of our lives. It is my baby, and I'm making her. She is there going to hold resources for ADHD, resources for scoliosis, resources for fusion, resources for grief. All the things that I talk about that mean a lot to me, there's going to be resources there. I'm creating blog posts. Would love to have guest blogs. Podcast is going to be through this website. This is how you're going to request to be on the pod or work together, collab together. I'm really excited for what the Twisted Collective will be. I cannot wait to finally show you the website, but that's a little bit about her. It is the Twisted Collective, a place, a lighthouse for the twists of our lives. So super excited to announce her a bit more and share kind of what it will hold for us. And it's also going to have travel in there because I know it is like a slow burn, but I do I can and do book travel, and I would really like to start helping book Scully retreats and things like that, and just help with disability travel resources. So that will also be there. It's going to be a big umbrella of all the twisted things I love and talk about, and just a big resource. So I'm super excited. Hopefully, the end of this month. We'll see. It was supposed to be the end of last month, but it's just a lot to build, and I myself am not I'm learning as I go. So any hoosers, I appreciate you all so much. I will see you all next time. Until then, take care of your spine, take care of your mind, and I'll see you next time. Love you.